What's up, everyone? So here's a wild stat for you. Nearly 60% of people can't cover a $1,000 emergency expense. And honestly, it's not because people are bad with money. It's because nobody ever sits us down and explains this stuff in a way that actually makes sense. Today, we're breaking down the financial concepts that literally everyone should understand, but somehow never learned in school. No complicated jargon, no boring textbook definitions, just real talk about the money basics that'll actually change your life. Let's get into it. Okay, so first up, let's talk about compound interest. This is basically when your money starts making money, and then that money makes money. It's like the ultimate passive income, and it's probably the most powerful financial concept you'll ever learn. Here's the thing. If you invest $100 and it grows 10% in year one, you've got $110. But in year two, you're not just earning interest on your original $100, you're earning it on the $110. That extra $10 matters way more than you think over time. Albert Einstein allegedly called this the eighth wonder of the world, and honestly, he wasn't wrong. Let me give you a real example. If you invest $200 a month starting at age 25 and you get an average return of 8% per year, by the time you're 65, you'll have around $700,000. But if you wait until you're 35 to start with that same $200 a month and same 8% return, you'll only have about $300,000. That 10-year difference cost you $400,000. That's insane, right? The key takeaway here is that time is literally your biggest asset when it comes to building wealth. You don't need to invest thousands of dollars to make this work. Even $50 a month is better than nothing because it's the time in the market that does the heavy lifting. Now let's talk about inflation, because this is the silent wealth killer that nobody really pays attention to. Inflation is the rate at which prices increase over time, and it's slowly eating away at your purchasing power whether you realize it or not. Think about it this way. If you stuff $10,000 under your mattress and inflation is 3% per year, in 1 year, that money only buys you what $9,700 would have bought before. You didn't spend a dime, but you effectively lost $300 in purchasing power. Over 10 years, that $10,000 would only have the buying power of about $7,400. This is exactly why just saving money isn't enough. You need your money to grow faster than inflation, which brings us back to investing. The good news is that historically, investing in the stock market has averaged returns of about 10% per year before inflation, which means after inflation, you're still looking at around 7% real returns. That's how you actually build wealth over time. Quick pause here. If you're finding this helpful, do me a solid and smash that like button. It literally takes half a second and helps this video reach more people who need to hear this. And hey, if you want more no BS financial content like this, hit subscribe. All right, let's keep rolling. Now let's get into assets versus liabilities, because this is the concept that completely changed how I think about money. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out of your pocket. That's it. Your car? Probably a liability. It costs you gas, insurance, maintenance, and it's losing value every single day. Your rental property that generates monthly income? That's an asset. It's putting money in your pocket month after month. Here's where people mess up. They think anything they own is an asset, but if it's not generating income or appreciating in value, it's not helping you build wealth. Rich people focus on acquiring assets. Everyone else focuses on acquiring stuff. Big difference. Stocks that pay dividends? Assets. They're literally paying you just to own them. A side business that generates profit? Asset. The goal is to continuously acquire more assets and minimize liabilities. Every financial decision you make should be filtered through this lens. Is this putting money in my pocket or taking it out? Let's talk about credit scores now, because your credit score is basically your financial reputation. It's a number between 300 and 850 that tells lenders how trustworthy you are with money. And yeah, it matters a lot more than most people realize. A good credit score, think 700 and above, means you get better interest rates on loans, easier apartment approvals, sometimes even better job opportunities. Here's a concrete example. Let's say you're buying a $300,000 house with a 30-year mortgage. With a credit score of 760 or higher, you might get an interest rate of 6.5% with a monthly payment around $1,900. But with a credit score of 620, you might be looking at 8% interest, which means a monthly payment around $2,200. That's an extra $300 a month just because of your credit score. Over 30 years, we're talking about over $100,000 in extra interest. So how do you build good credit? Pay your bills on time. every single time. Keep your credit card balances low, ideally under 30% of your credit limit. Don't close old credit cards even if you're not using them, and don't apply for a bunch of credit at once. Treat your credit score like your GPA. It follows you around, and it's way easier to maintain than to fix. Now let's talk about emergency funds, because this is your financial airbag. Life happens. Cars break down, jobs get lost, medical emergencies pop up. An emergency fund is literally just money you set aside for when things go sideways. Most experts recommend 3 to 6 months of living expenses. I know that sounds like a lot, but start with $1,000. Just get that first grand saved up. You'll be shocked how much peace of mind it gives you. Here's why this matters. Without an emergency fund, every unexpected expense becomes a crisis. Your car breaks down and you don't have $800 for the repair. Now you're putting it on a credit card at 22% interest. But when you've got that cushion, an $800 car repair is annoying, but it's not a disaster. Keep this money in a high-yield savings account, not in your checking account where you'll accidentally spend it, and not in the stock market where it might be down when you need it. The whole point is liquidity and stability. Let's talk about diversification now, because you've heard "don't put all your eggs in one basket" a million times, but what does it actually mean? Diversification means spreading your money across different types of investments, so if one tanks, you're not completely screwed. The stock market crashed in 2008. People who had everything in stocks got wrecked. People who were diversified across stocks, bonds, and other assets, they took a hit, but they survived and recovered. That's the whole point. Don't just invest in one company or one industry. Index funds and ETFs make this super easy because one fund can hold hundreds or thousands of different stocks, giving you instant diversification. The younger you are, the more aggressive you can be with stocks because you have time to recover from downturns. But at any age, diversification is your friend. Now let's talk about net worth, because this is the number that actually matters. The formula is dead simple. Everything you own minus everything you owe equals your net worth. You could be making $200,000 a year, but if you've got $300,000 in debt and no savings, your net worth might be negative. Meanwhile, someone making $50,000 with no debt and $100,000 invested, they're actually wealthier than you. Track your net worth at least once a year. Write down everything you own and what it's worth, then write down everything you owe and subtract what you owe from what you own. And that's your net worth. This is your truest financial scorecard. Not your salary, not what kind of car you drive. Your net worth is the truest measure of your financial progress. All right, before we wrap up, I've put together a free downloadable PDF checklist that covers all these concepts, plus bonus tips on how to actually implement them. Link is in the description below. Grab it, print it out, put it on your fridge, whatever works for you. Here's the bottom line. Personal finance isn't rocket science, but it's also not something you can just ignore and hope works out. These concepts are the foundation. Master these and you're already ahead of probably 80% of people out there. You don't need to be a finance expert. You just need to understand how money works so we can start working for you instead of against you. Understanding compound interest means you'll start investing early. Understanding inflation means you'll not let your money lose value. Understanding assets versus liabilities means you'll make smarter decisions. Credit saves you thousands in interest. Having an emergency fund protects you from debt spirals. Diversification protects you from catastrophic losses. And tracking your net worth means you'll actually know if you're making progress. The hard part isn't understanding this stuff. You just proved you can understand it. The hard part is actually doing it. Setting up that automatic transfer, opening that investment account, checking your credit report, calculating your net worth, even if you're scared of the number. But here's the thing. You can't fix what you don't measure, and you can't build wealth with concepts you don't understand. Now you understand them. So what are you going to do about it? If this video helped you out, let me know what concepts clicked for you. And seriously, subscribe if you haven't already, because we're building a community of people who are done being broke and confused about money. I'll see you in the next one. Now go build that wealth.